What time is it over there?
6:01 over here. Okay, now we're calling this meeting to order. And this is the regular Milpitas City Council meeting, September 16th. And today is Mexican Independence Day, everybody. Happy Mexican Independence Day. So I'm calling this meeting to order, and it's being broadcast via Zoom. Oral public comment may only be provided live at the Milpitas City Council meeting in person. And Vice Mayor Barbadillo is participating remotely from JW Marriott Muscat, Madinat Al Irfan Airport. These are the heights in Muscat, Oman, pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953. The City Council meeting is available for instant translation in over 60 languages with Wordly, accessible via mobile phone, computer, and video displays by scanning the QR code located at the title page of the agenda in the upper right-hand corner. So back to today's business. City Clerk Gazetta, please take the roll.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
Here.
Councilmember Chua.
Here.
Councilmember Lamb.
Here.
Councilmember Lian.
Here.
Mayor Montano.
I'm here. Okay, so now before we adjourn to today to closed session, Acting City Attorney Creech, please brief the public on closed session items for today.
Thank you, Mayor. You have 3 items on closed session. The first is public employee appointment and hiring pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, position to be filled city attorney. There's also conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6, agencies designated representatives, Deanna Santana, interim city manager, employee organizations, unrepresented city attorney. The final item is conference with labor negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Agencies designated representatives are Rick Bolanos of Lieber, Cassidy, and Whitmore. Employee organizations are ProTech, MidCon, MEA, and unrepresented employees.
Okay, great, thank you. And so now we'll go to the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make any comments on the closed session agenda items?
We have no public speaker cards, Mayor.
Okay, I don't see anyone from the public, so now we are adjourned to closed session.
I stole it from my daughter. This is all I got. From her 4-year picture.
Okay, it is now, what time is it? 7:30. And we are coming back to order from closed session. So, City Attorney, do you have something to report out?
Thank you, Mayor. There's nothing to report out of closed session at this time. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone, let's rise. It's Pledge of Allegiance. All right, ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And today, or tonight, actually, we have an invocation. Councilmember Lien will provide the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. We gather today with hearts full of gratitude and purpose, mindful of values that unite us: respect, resilience, courage, and the fight for freedom and dignity. To keep striving for a future where everyone is free to live, to dream, to thrive, and to inspire one another to face challenges with hope and never give up on a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Lin. And so now we're moving on to presentations. Let's have council members come to the podium and join me in giving out these presentations. Okay, everyone, welcome everyone. So today or tonight is Persistent Systems Proclamation. Tonight we proudly recognize Persistent Systems for their generous laptop donation to the city of Milpitas. This contribution enhances our technology capacity and directly supports programs and services for our community. Their generosity reflects the power of public-private partnerships and demonstrates how industry and local government can work together for the public good. So join me, Carmen Montano, the mayor of the Milpitas, and the Milpitas City Council in recognizing Persistent Systems for their generous donation. So come on up. And I would like for you to say something. You got the podium, you got the floor.
I would just say thank you for giving us an opportunity to contribute to the community. We are a small employer in the US, probably about 200 people. We wanted to help the communities we work in whatever small ways we could. So, thank you for giving us an opportunity to help you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. So here's the proclamation.
There's also Bianca. Is that okay, ma'am? Go ahead.
There's another one.
We also want to thank Miss Bianca or Kyoko, who came to me and said, oh, Councilmember Chua, we have Persistent Technology who has 20 laptops and they wanted to give it to Milpitas. I said, we'll take it. So is Bianca here today? Not yet? Oh, okay. Can you please give this to her?
Same group.
Yes, same group.
So if you could take a picture, put it up, take a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, the next one is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month Proclamation. So this proclamation will be accepted by representatives from Jacobs Heart Children's Cancer Support Services. So today we recognize September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Milpitas. Each year, too many children in our community face a cancer diagnosis, and too many families endure unimaginable challenges. Organizations like Jacob's Heart stand beside these families, ensuring they are supported with housing, food, transportation, and most of all, compassion. Tonight, we honor the children whose lives have been lost and those still fighting, and we affirm our community's commitment to supporting them. So join me, Mayor Carmen Montano, and the Milpitas City Council in recognizing September 2025 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And we have, who do we have to accept this? Who was it that was going to accept this? There, come on up. Let's take a picture first, and then you can come and say something.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alyssa, and I am from Jacob's Heart. We are a children's cancer support service. We have been around for 27 years. We are new to your guys' area. We have officially joined Milpitas as of July 15th. We are absolutely here to wrap your families in love and support. So if you know anybody in the community who is currently battling cancer, is bereaved by the loss of a child, please send them our way. Jacob's Heart is here to help them every step of the way through their journey. Cancer isn't just one of those things where it happens, you go through remission and it's over. It is a very secular thing. And many times not, or often or not, children relapse. And so through every step of that, Jacob's Heart is here. Like you guys mentioned, some things like practical, financial, transportation, groceries every week, really anything that we can to make sure that families aren't focused on surviving. They're only focused on the quality and care of their child.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for being there for the children. And then next we have Mexican Independence Day Proclamation. So this proclamation will be accepted by Juliet Gomez. So on September 16th, 1810, Father Miguel Hidalgo's call for freedom ignited the movement that gave birth to an independent Mexico. Today, we celebrate Mexican Independence Day and honor the courage and sacrifice that shaped history. Mexican Americans enrich Milpitas every day with their culture, their values, and their contributions to our civic and economic life. This proclamation recognizes both the history of independence and the vibrant heritage that strengthens our community. Join me, Mayor Carmen Montano, and the Milpitas City Council in recognizing September 16th, 2025 as Mexican Independence Day. And I also would like to say, Juliet Gomez, would you come on up here and to accept this proclamation? So Juliet's father, his name is John Fernando Gomez Sr., and he's been very ill. He was maybe you might want to explain, but you're going to be accepting this proclamation, and at the same time in honor of your father. So I know that fathers are very, very special in everybody's life. So with that, you would like to come and say a few words, and then we'll give you the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Montano. I know. Okay, this year I dedicate Mexican Independence Day to my father, who is in ICU after a horrible auto accident. His strength, his love for family, and his willingness to fight for what is right continues to inspire me. He's fighting every single day since August 7th. For me, this day is very personal. My parents came from Mexico with hope and determination. honoring the system, working hard, and earning their citizenship the right way. My father devoted his entire life to General Motors and to the Brotherhood of the UAW. He was never afraid to strike, to make a change, and to better the lives of his union fellow workers. After years of sacrifice, he retired with dignity, showing me the values of faith, perseverance, dedication, and hard work. Mexican Independence Day is about our history. It's about honoring our roots, our faith, and the sacrifices of those who came before us, while embracing the hope of the American dream. I want to dedicate this to my father, and in honor of him, I'm wearing his UAW retirement belt. So thank you, Carmen Montano.
Oh, that's pretty cool. United Auto Workers.
Yes.
My dad used to
Union.
work there.
Oh, my, I
He was
think
a
every,
union member.
yep. So thank you, Carmen Montano and City Council, for honoring my dad today.
Thank you very much, everyone. And again, happy Mexican Independence Day. I would like to say a little short song. México lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti, digan que yo estoy dormida y que me traigan aquí. Happy Independence Day, everyone. So now we have. Actually, now we're going to have the county come and do a presentation, right? Is it, you're going to put on the slideshow? Okay. All right.
Face the audience. Okay. I'll just talk to the audience and TV can show you my face and, oh, yeah, that might work better, but you could hear me okay. Well, first off, good evening, everybody. My name is Otto Lee, honored to be serving as your supervisor at the County of Santa Clara, also currently serving as the president of the Board of Supervisors. And I just want to first thank for Mayor Montano and the City Council for this invitation to present and for making space on this agenda to hear from the county tonight. These are some challenging times for all of us in local government. We're living with a lot of anxiety and uncertainty, whether due to the action from the federal government, the general political climate in our country, or the state of the economy. And I want to also acknowledge the amazing work that you all are doing as elected members to lead and steer your city through these very turbulent times. Thank you. And we are certainly feeling the same challenging nature at the county as well. As you all know, the county is the social safety net for every resident in Santa Clara County. Our motto has been, we are here when you need us. And this is because we are often the last line of support for families and those in need in our community. Every day, the county provides critical access to care and safety net services that help keep our community healthy, safe, and vibrant. We have a unique role and responsibility as a subdivision of the state of California in implementing legally mandated programs and providing access to care to people in need, regardless of the insurance status or the ability to pay. As you will hear tonight, the recent passage of H.R. 1, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, really has punched a huge hole in our county's social safety net and poses a grave fiscal threat to the county and our Santa Clara Valley healthcare. It's been more than 40 years since the county has faced such a significant fiscal crisis of this magnitude. These unusual times have called up for unusual, extraordinary actions that we were not planning for or could have expected. H.R. 1 was only signed by the President about a couple months ago on July 4th. Yet its impacts are already being felt here and across the entire nation. In the wake of the signing of the bill, we as a county board moved quickly to evaluate the impacts and to develop a response. Tonight, you're going to hear about the scope and the magnitude of the challenges we face and how the county is responding. My colleagues and I on the Board of Supervisors, all 5 of us, acted swiftly and unanimously last month in voting to place the 5/8 cents general sales tax measure on the ballot, which we now call Measure A. We did not make this decision lightly, and it is only one small part of addressing the fiscal crisis we face. But we knew that we had to take immediate action to address the more than $1 billion a year. Let me say that again, $1,000 million a year of budget shortfall that we face as a county because of HR 1. As stewards of public resources, we know that we are going to have to make many difficult and painful decisions in the months ahead. We've already cut the fat, as they call, but we will be forced to cut to the bone and down to the bone marrow if we don't find a way to stop the bleeding. If we continue cutting, the limb will fall off. To balance the county budget, we will have to talk about shutting down healthcare clinics, and we have one right here in Milpitas, and even county hospitals, and we have 4 of those. We're going to have to make fundamental changes to county operations and services, and we're going to have to make significant reductions. But we also know that so many in our community are relying on us. Our hospitals are already full and busy today. As more and more residents lose their health coverage, they are going to need access to our local public hospitals. And as more residents lose food assistance from what we see on the SNAP cuts, they are going to need social safety net support even more. These cuts will hurt all of us. For those who thought, oh gee, I got Kaiser, I don't need county hospital, I'm going to say something that you might not know. If you are really hurt, if you're in a bad car accident, let's knock on wood that doesn't happen. If you got burned really badly, the county hospitals is the only facility that has that capability to help save your life. Because the county is the only one that has a trauma level 1 service up at the Valley Medical Center. And most recently, in our purchase of Regional Medical Center, we saved that from bankruptcy, closure, and now we have a trauma level 2 reinstated after it was closed for a year, so that many people living in Milpitas would not have to travel afar to get the trauma level service. Many hundreds of lives have been saved even as soon as April. And these are real facts that we're stating. And we have a responsibility to be the county organization that we have to be there when you need us to be. And this is what this measure is about. One, the county has voted unanimously on putting that on November ballot. And this is why we continue to pursue every opportunity to mitigate that $1 billion impacts on the community to the greatest extent possible. In this moment of extreme challenge, we must come together as a community to chart a path forward that ensures the dignity, health, and well-being of every one of our residents, especially those most in need. And following me today, we also have the CEO, Paul Lorenz, who actually is the CEO of not one, but all 4 hospitals, Valley Medical Center, O'Connor, St. Louis, and now Regional Medical Center. So Paul, please come up.
Thank you. Thank you, President Lee. Let me first start up by saying it's a pleasure to be here, Mayor Montano and members of the City Council. Again, my name is Paul Lorenz. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Santa Clara Valley Healthcare for the County of Santa Clara. And just by way of background, I've been in public healthcare for 36 years, 14 of which have been here in Santa Clara County, serving the residents in this capacity. Again, I want to thank the Council for giving us the opportunity to talk about the impact of HR 1 on our communities, and on your healthcare system. If we can go to slide 2. As I'm sure and has been mentioned, most of you know that H.R. 1 is known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was signed into law on July 4th. The law enacts the largest cuts in the 60-year history of the Medicaid program, which is known as Medi-Cal in the state of California, and the largest ever cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, and here in California, referred to as CalFresh. We are talking about when all the H.R. 1 provisions are enacted, $1 trillion in cuts to the Medicaid program. $1 trillion. $186 billion to the SNAP program, the Supplemental Nutrition Program. As you also know, the Medicaid program, Medi-Cal in California, is a vital social safety net program that provides health coverage to low-income individuals, children, our seniors, persons with disabilities, our foster youth, and other vulnerable community members. 1 in 5 Americans, 1 in 2 children in the United States get their health insurance coverage through Medicaid. 1 in 2 children. 1 in 4 children in the US rely on the SNAP benefits for food. The next slide, please. In Santa Clara County, 1 in 4 residents, that's approximately 465,000 community members, rely on Medi-Cal. That is in Santa Clara County. 133,000 rely on CalFresh. I won't go into all the changes in H.R. 1. There are many provisions, but the new law makes severe cuts to the Medi-Cal program, primarily in 2 ways. First, it dramatically reduces payments to the Medi-Cal providers and hospitals, the ones that provide the care to our residents. This will result in fewer community providers and healthcare systems willing and able to care for Medi-Cal patients. When you cut reimbursement, providers look for alternatives to maintain their practice. Health systems do the same. Further shifting the responsibility for serving our community and these patients on Medi-Cal to your public healthcare system, your safety net healthcare system. Second, major eligibility changes under H.R. 1 are designed to push many Medicaid recipients off of coverage. Through the imposition of work reporting requirements and doubling of the frequency for recipients to provide proof that they actually qualify. This will result in thousands of our residents in Santa Clara County losing health coverage. Without coverage, individuals will not have access to primary care and preventive health care services, to manage their health, to identify chronic conditions early. Individuals will unfortunately rely on our emergency rooms when health issues have progressed, and obviously by the time in your emergency room, these issues are identified far too late. This increases the cost of healthcare and really overburdens all of our emergency rooms in Santa Clara County, not just your public hospitals, but all emergency rooms, when you have individuals accessing care in that manner. The real problem here is that those services, that care that's provided by your public hospitals and other hospitals, are unreimbursed care because they do not have coverage. Because Santa Clara Valley Healthcare serves over 60% of the Medi-Cal enrollees in Santa Clara County, we are disproportionately impacted. And I'll share some of those fiscal realities of what that means for your safety net healthcare system. And as mentioned, HR 1 cuts to CalFresh are also very significant for our community. It is these changes in HR 1, these and other changes, that collectively puts our county and our community and our public healthcare system at extraordinary risk, threatening access to care for all residents in the county of Santa Clara and in Milpitas. The next slide, please. The magnitude of these cuts and the potential impact on county services are hard to overstate. Medicaid funding represents the single largest source of federal funding for the county of Santa Clara, approximately $2.3 billion. The county health system accounts for about $2 billion of those Medicaid dollars, and we expect to lose half, $1 billion of the $2 billion of the revenues that your healthcare system receives and earns by providing the care to our residents. And obviously, if we can't find alternative solutions, we are talking about severe cuts to your public healthcare system. Next slide, please. So this slide shows a summary of the impact analysis, and this is based on HR 1 analysis and also information that we have received from the Congressional Budget Office analysis. And we looked at what this means for your own health system in the county. So the estimated impact of HR 1, along with related state actions, would create an immediate deficit this fiscal year of $200 million. $200+ million, and a $513 million deficit in next year's budget. This is primarily your public healthcare system impact. In subsequent years, as you will note, the federal nutrition action will begin to roll in, and as a county, this is quite significant. In 2029, 30, it grows to $1.37 billion. The next slide, please. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about and sharing why your Santa Clara Valley healthcare system is so essential to our community. So as I mentioned, Santa Clara Valley Healthcare operates 4 hospitals. In 2019, the County of Santa Clara acquired O'Connor Hospital and St. Louis Hospital, Regional Hospital, out of bankruptcy. Immediately after that, I think most of you know, we then entered a period of time dealing with COVID in our community. These hospitals became immediately essential to our community in meeting those needs. If we did not have those 2 hospitals, and I will stand here and tell you, I'm not sure what we would have done. I do not believe that the care that was provided by these hospitals and all of the hospitals in Santa Clara County would have been at the level and the quality that you would expect for your own family members. These hospitals serve as a backbone, along with Valley Medical Center and now Regional Medical Center, of safety net healthcare services in our community. What is less well known about Santa Clara Valley Healthcare is that we offer many of the critical healthcare services to all residents. Santa Clara Valley Healthcare provides care to nearly 1 in 4 Santa Clara County residents, 1 in 4. And that number continues to grow with the recent acquisition of Regional Medical Center right here in your backyard. We operate 2 of the 3 trauma centers in Santa Clara County. Valley Medical Center is a level 1 adult trauma center and a level 2 pediatric trauma center. Regional Medical Center is a level 2 trauma center, and the only other trauma center in Santa Clara County is Stanford. Your public hospitals handle about 80% of all trauma cases originating within this county. Half of all 911 transports are taken to a county hospital. Half, more than 50%. In fact, every 11 minutes, a 911 call in Santa Clara County results in a patient transported to a county hospital. What's also not known is that we are now, your public hospital system, the largest provider of Medicare hospital services for Santa Clara County residents. So we are the largest Medicaid provider, but we are also the largest Medicare provider. You think about in our community who is on Medicare and how important these hospitals are to our residents. So we operate at Valley Medical Center, a top-ranked rehabilitation center. That's the top-ranked rehabilitation center on the entire West Coast, ranked number 7 nationally, providing spinal cord injury care, brain injury care, and stroke care. We receive referrals from the entire region to care for those patients in their most time of need. The only burn center in Santa Clara County is operated at Valley Medical Center. And it's only one of the 3 regional burn centers and trauma centers between Los Angeles and the Oregon border. So I don't think I need to explain to this council, given the previous presentation, about the importance of trauma care. It affects all of us, directly or indirectly, family member, a community member, a friend. Healthcare is personal, and we have to think about what it means, not just to our community, but the individuals that actually need the care when most in need. This is what's at risk given the provisions under HR 1. I've mentioned some of them, but I can tell you services range from oncology, cancer care, to acute psychiatric services. Many of those services only provided to certain patient populations in our community at our public hospitals, your public hospitals. So if I can go to the next slide. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about Regional Medical Center. So Regional Medical Center is not only an important hospital for our entire community, but it is of particular importance to the residents of Milpitas. 40% of all 911 transports and 80% of all trauma transports originating in Milpitas are taken to Regional Medical Center. So in August of 2024, the former operator of Regional Medical Center, and I think all of you are aware of this, closed Regional's Level 2 Trauma Center. Closed it. They also closed STEMI service, which is heart care, and also downgraded their comprehensive stroke center to a primary stroke center, lowered the level of care offered in that community and for this region. These service reductions were extraordinary, harmful in terms of timeliness to care, but they also severely impacted services at Valley Medical Center. VMC's Trauma Center, for example, the only trauma center within 15 miles of Regional, saw trauma volumes skyrocket, climbing 87% from January of 2024 to January of 2025. Valley Medical Center, the trauma volume that we were seeing was the highest of any trauma center in the state of California. The highest. We were the only hospital that exceeded over 5,000 trauma activations. No other hospital in the state of California exceeded 4,000. So to protect healthcare access for Milpitas and East San Jose, residents and to relieve the pressure on Valley Medical Center, our County Board of Supervisors made a bold decision and determined that purchasing Regional Medical Center was the best option. So on April 1st of this year, when Regional Medical Center became part of Santa Clara Valley Healthcare, we were able to reopen critical services. The Level 2 Trauma Center was reopened on day one. STEMI, heart care, reopened on day one. And critical stroke services were restored. The hospital is now very busy. Services are restored. And the county is also, we are looking to reopen labor and delivery services, actually next month. And those services were shuttered by HCA in 2020. So think about labor and delivery services and which hospitals provide that care in this community, in this region. It will be regional medical center. So all of these services are at risk due to HR 1. If we can go to the next slide. So I do want to note that even though the vast majority of the federal cuts the county is facing comes in the form of impacts to the healthcare system, the other county services are also at significant risk because of the magnitude of the cuts is just simply too large for your public healthcare system to absorb on its own. What the public may not know is that only 21% of the revenue the county receives is discretionary. So the county has very little flexibility in terms of the kinds of services we can cut. The overwhelming majority of the county's discretionary revenue is dedicated to healthcare and public safety services, such as hospital care, as I've described, the sheriff's office, mental health care, services for the unhoused, and of course, our DA and our public defender's office. These are services at greatest risk from the dramatic reduction in county funding from HR 1. Next slide, please. So as mentioned, healthcare access for Milpitas residents is at serious risk due to HR 1. So a few statistics. 1 in 5, about 16,000 Milpitas residents today rely on Medi-Cal for their insurance. 4,800 rely on CalFresh for food. 66% of all hospital transport from 911 calls in Milpitas are taken to a county hospital. And I think the most important stat here is that 99% of Milpitas trauma cases are transported by ambulances to a county hospital. Next slide, please. I wanted to talk about our approach to try and address these cuts. With the scale of the fiscal crisis facing the county, we cannot just rely on 1 or 2 strategies alone. It's going to take a multitude of efforts. Our main 3 strategies are as follows. And I'll touch on these in subsequent slides, but number 1, doing everything we can to internally reduce cost and increase efficiency through restructuring, lowering our overhead. We are seeking state support. And of course, we are asking the local community for help with local revenue. Next slide, please. So to further elaborate on our efforts to reduce costs and increase our revenue. So we've launched a series of initiatives to increase efficiencies, control costs, and maximize revenues, including implementing a hiring freeze in the county. Over the last 3 fiscal years, the county has had to eliminate 800 positions. So we are no strangers to cuts, but the impact of HR 1 and the gap we have to fill is truly unprecedented. I want to assure this council, I want to assure to the public that we are doing everything we can to mitigate the impact, everything, with a focus on prioritizing services to our community. That is our purpose, that is our mission, And we are doing everything possible to mitigate these horrendous funding shortfalls that are a result of HR 1. Next slide. Our second strategy, as mentioned, is to seek state support. And we are trying to work in partnership with the state to protect our public hospitals, which they know are disproportionately impacted by HR 1. This is not new news to the state. Public hospitals make up only 6% of the California hospitals, but operate more than 50% of the trauma and burn centers in the state of California and train over 50% of California doctors. We are a teaching hospital, we are a teaching system, not just for the physicians that practice in our community, but our nurses, our pharmacists, our technologists. We are a teaching and training facility for everyone in this community. The next slide, please. And our third strategy, and our President Supervisor Otto Lee mentioned this, our third strategy is pursuing other local revenue options, which is the action the Board of Supervisors took to put a 5/8 cents emergency temporary sales tax up for voter consideration. So in summary, I'll be brief because I know you probably have a lot of questions. Our community is facing a true healthcare emergency caused by the federal government. If we were not confronted as a public healthcare system with HR 1, we would be celebrating what we have here in the county of Santa Clara. There is no other public system like we have, and that is because of the quality and the standard of care that we provide and the specialized services that we offer the community. We are not like any other public system. We are part of the ecosystem of healthcare in Santa Clara County. You remove any part of our system, it is going to punch a hole in how healthcare delivery is delivered to our residents throughout Santa Clara County. Keep in mind, we are the largest provider of Medi-Cal here in Santa Clara County and the largest provider of Medicare, serving more than 1 in 4 residents at different levels of care, from primary care to these specialized services. Everyone's care is at risk, and as I mentioned, because of our local presence as part of a total ecosystem. And other hospitals will be overwhelmed if we have to close emergency rooms. Wait times will be increased. That impacts everyone, not just the Medi-Cal population, not just the Medicare, but everyone. So without revenue solutions, there is no way to avoid these devastating local service cuts. There's absolutely no way. $1 billion out of a $4.6 billion operating budget, 25% of revenues gone. These are truly unusual times, and they do require an extraordinary response from not only the county and our healthcare system, but all of us collectively. So with that being said, I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you, council members.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence, and thank you, County Board of Supervisors Otto Lee, for that presentation. Are there any questions? Oh, actually, I think I need to take a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make any comments on this presentation?
Yes, I have several speaker cards, Mayor. How many minutes would you like to have for speakers? How many minutes would you like to have for speakers?
Just 1 minute.
1 minute, thank you. The first 2 speakers are going to come up together. That is Tarhata Brazal and Mordecai Brazal.
Welcome.
The other day, I asked my 4-year-old daughter what beautiful meant. Love, she said. Beautiful is love. It's like a rainbow with all the colors. She was going on and on, listing all the colors she could, even including golden and sparkly. The innocence and purity of her answer is simple yet true. However, it's been complex, perhaps even turned ugly for some people. Regardless, this is what Santa Clara County represents, the beauty of all the colors, its unity. This is the reason why people move, travel, and immigrate to the very place we call home. As a former forensic nurse, having served with the SAFE team, our services are critical. The $1 billion deficit directly affects the services we provide for sexual assault victims, something to think about when rates are high during the holidays and major sporting events, knowing that we are hosting the Super Bowl and FIFA World Cup in 2026. As a former nurse coordinator for the Valley Homeless Healthcare Program, who has held hands with the residents no one ever thinks to hold hands with, their healthcare services are at risk.
Thank you very much.
And now we have Mordecai.
Hello, my name is Mordecai Joel Brasal, but people call me Mojo. I am in 3rd grade, and every day my mom tells me to be a leader among leaders, and that's why I'm here. I found out that the community that we live in has been cut by $1 billion. That affects me. This affects my classmates. This is my soccer teammates. This affects everyone who need to go to the hospital or go to the clinics. When hospital and clinics shut down for a scale down, there will be longer wait times and patients go to the other hospitals. Ambulance will also take longer to arrive. Milpitas residents depend on our county health care system.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job.
And then we have Raymond Bynes.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Goins, and I'm a community health worker whose patients all will be impacted in ways that will have a rippling effect if this measure is not passed. So I support Measure A and ask you to vote yes with me, because in my role as a community health worker, I am afforded the opportunity to have patients that live throughout the cities that make up this county. Some of my patients live right here in this very city, and some may be family and friends that you all may have. So I'm here to ask you to vote yes on Measure A for them. I am here to speak for them, to speak for the homeless that feel that they are not seen because people just walk by. That measure will impact the people that are usually forgotten, and I ask that you support them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have no additional public speaker cards, Mayor.
Is there anyone from the public? Oh,
Looks
Mr.
like we have Rob
Means.
Means.
Good evening, Council. The measure that's being proposed, although it's a sales tax measure, a regressive measure, is something that I support personally, realizing that it is part of our safety net here in the county. But it's really just the first step. I mean, if we're talking about a $1 billion financial hole, and we're talking about 1/3 of $1 billion to try to fill it, obviously it ain't going to fill it. So we're going to have to do more to fill that gap somehow. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know who's responsible for the problem that we are in, and that is the Republican regime that's trying to create a fascist authoritarian government that crushes California because California represents, quote, the enemy. Be prepared.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public?
We have Voltaire Montemayor.
Welcome, Mr. Montemayor.
Thank you, Voltaire Montemayor, Milpitas. I'll speak fast. Childhood cancer, we need him to be in the Olympics also. While we treat him at a young age. Mexican independence, I was there last year during the pilgrimage of St. John's. and it's a peaceful place in Mexico City. The laptop, I had a pencil and paper when I was young, but now thank you that we were provided with the laptops. Now I'm not selecting as the most of the presentations about the impacts in Milpitas to the HR1. Yeah, I heard is that 6 digits at least, and then yeah, it's now auto bumping of electrons is if we have the should I mention tariff reduction, and then it's a domino effect. We should not be reducing
Thank you.
budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public?
I have no additional public speaker cards, Mayor.
Okay, with that, we will move on to the conflict of interest and campaign contributions. Thank you very much. Oh, I will have Councilmember Lynn.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first I want to thank you, Supervisor Otterly and Mr. Lawrence for the insightful presentation. We truly appreciate the time and effort you put into explaining the complexities and its impact on our community. Your dedication and service in supporting the health and well-being of our residents make a significant difference, and we are grateful for that. I do have a question for Supervisor Lee. This measure is for the hospitals. Would you share with us, how is it allocated? Is it going straight to the hospitals, or is it going to the general fund?
Yes, actually, this is technically a measure that we are trying to fill through the general fund, not specifically for the hospitals. Two reasons. Number one is if it's for a specific purpose, the law says you need 2/3 approval, like a school bond measure, for example. This one is actually for the general fund for the county. And what we're looking at is really backfilling the losses of cuts that we're doing. So instead of looking at additional revenue, we are trying to mitigate or lessen the cuts that we're going to have to face. As you know, as a city, as a county, we cannot have a deficit on our budget every year. Only the federal government can do that. But we cannot print money, right? Deanna is smiling, you know. So we have to have a balanced budget. And looking at the funding coming in, this estimated deficit of $1 billion a year is very real. So even if Measure A were to pass, what that money would do is saying that instead of having to do a $1 billion cut, the county can do only a $600 million cut a year. That's what we're talking about. So is it money really going to just the hospital? No, we're going to all the different services, because as you know, we county do so many different things that people may or may not even know, right?
Thank
That
you,
helps. Thank you.
Supervisor. Yeah.
We have a Councilmember Chua.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Otterly. I echo what Councilmember Lynn said about the presentation is very detailed. Mr. Lawrence did a great job. If I can call on Mr. Lawrence, please. Appreciate the presentation. It's clear.
Thank
And
you,
also, I don't have a question. Questions will come later on, maybe. I just want to attest to you. 3 years ago, one of my family members, we went to Regional Medical Center, and the staff, the doctors, the nurses, they're awesome. I can attest to their expertise, their knowledge, and the type of service, the excellent service that we've gotten. And I want to thank you for that. If you're going to fix the Regional Medical Center, I think fix the facilities, because they need hot water. They need some remodeling or upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chua. If I may, through the mayor, I just have to share with you, when we acquired Regional Medical Center, we moved over 98% of the staff that work at Regional Medical Center to the county. So those nurses, those doctors, those technicians stayed with that hospital.
Oh,
I think it's really important to know that it really did make a difference.
they're awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank you both.
And I just want to say, the morale of that place was actually sinking when they were closing all these different services.
Right.
And since we bought them in April, it gone straight up.
I didn't say this, but the hospital census at Regional when we acquired was 80 patients. Today, it's 190. So it's more than doubled in terms of inpatient acute care volume. The number of emergency room visits on some days surpasses that of Valley Medical Center. And Valley Medical Center is the busiest emergency room in the county. So Regional Medical Center in terms of access has truly meant the difference to that community and to this community.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Is anyone else? Councilmember Lamb?
Mayor, we also have the vice mayor's hand raised on
Oh,
Zoom.
wait, let's have a Vice Mayor Barbadillo first, and then we'll go to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, Supervisor Lee and Mr. Lawrence. I just have a few questions, and I agree with you that we cannot live by a deficiency, right? So how much are we expecting to generate on the Measure A if it passes in November?
Sure. The estimated amount, if Measure A were to pass, would generate around $330 million per year, which is about 1/3 of the 1 billion. That's why you keep hearing the 1/3 number. So it's about only 1/3 is what we're making up with the Measure A if it were to pass. So that's basically the amount of cuts that hopefully we won't have to do.
Okay. Did the county do a 5-year projection just to see if, what we're doing now is a long-term solution for the deficiency, or it's just a temporary, a solution to it as we face it imminently?
So thank you for that question. So it's really hard to project, apologize. It's really hard to project what things are going to look like financially even 2 years from now, let alone 5 years from now. But I think it's safe to say, based on our projections going through 28, 29, we are looking at a $1.4 billion operating deficit. So we do have to find different ways of providing care through restructuring, consolidation of very specialized service lines. As an example, the reopening of labor and delivery services and NICU, neonatal intensive care unit services at Regional. We are restructuring within the health system to move those services from O'Connor Hospital to Regional Medical Center. And that is because 40% of the births that the county health system provides, which is 80% of the Medi-Cal births as a system, 30 to 40% of those births occur in and around Regional Medical Center. So the right thing to do is not to open another labor and delivery service, but to restructure our services so that we're much more efficient and we're meeting the needs of the community. So that's a perfect example of things that we are going to have to do as a healthcare system to make sure that we're around for the next generation and generations to come, irrespective of what is going on with HR1. We've been around for 170 years, and we fully expect to be around for another 170 years.
So we're doing these measures internally through the county. My question is with regards to the recipients for medical and Medicare. Is there anything that changed to help on this deficit that we're facing? Let's say, instead of catering for 100, we'll cater for 50. It's just an example. What I'm trying to ask is what portion of our efforts is being contributed by Medicare and medical recipients, if any?
So you ask a very good question, and it's a very complicated question, but let me answer this in a simple way so that everyone can understand. So about 48% of our payer mix is Medicaid. So that represents the 50% of the revenue that your healthcare system receives. So that's Medicaid. With the acquisition of Regional Medical Center, we are the largest provider of Medicare. The payer mix for Medicare in your public system is now 40%. And what a lot of people don't realize about Medicare is that Medicare, in terms of reimbursement to hospitals and providers, does not cover your cost. And that is why you're starting to see a shift of Medicare patient days and volumes from the other hospitals to your public system. Because in healthcare is a business, and so I'm just going to speak very frankly here. Healthcare is a business, and providers have a bottom line to worry about. They have to have margins. And so what they do is they pick and choose which insurance companies they contract with, depending on the rate of reimbursement. They pick and choose which patients they want to see and care for. Complicated patients, patients with multiple diagnoses, chronic conditions, diabetes, are patients that sometimes a provider will have to make a decision. Not because they want to, because the reimbursement is not there. And so what happens, and what's happened in this county, you've seen that shift for not just the Medicaid over the decades, but now today, the Medicare. Because Medicare is what Medicaid was for reimbursement for hospitals and providers 15 years ago. And that is why you have a safety net system, because in healthcare, the business model changes, and you have to have a system that actually cares for the community and puts their patients first instead of profits. So I'm speaking very frankly here, but I've been in the business for quite some time, and I love our system because we serve everyone in our community. We have a very diverse community. We have the very richest in our community, but we have many on the other spectrum that are most vulnerable. And if we don't take care of everyone, everyone will suffer. I'm sorry about that.
How about,
Thank you.
if I may have a follow-up, how about have the county been renegotiating those medical insurance to bottom line on reimbursements?
Another great question. So we are in active negotiations with the majority of our payers, particularly those providers that are way below our cost. We are in active negotiations, and that is one of our strategies around increasing our revenue, is to further hold insurance companies accountable for the care that we provide. Because I can tell you time and time again, and it's just not with your public system, it's with every healthcare system, Stanford, El Camino alike, we have to fight for those revenues for the care that we provide. And I assure you that we do everything possible to make sure that we maximize our reimbursement, and we are taking that to the next level.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, it may be a trip to the moon question, right? So we've been talking about cooperation in the community, the state, and working this beautiful bill, as everybody calls it, right? Is there any avenue that we reach out to feds through the state and I know that it's a law, but it's impacting us. So maybe that's another way. Maybe rewrite whoever signed it and see if yes, we accept the beautiful bill, but there are avenues that can at least temper its effect. Something like that. Do we have any idea if the state is doing that?
That's a really tough question. It's probably more in the political realm than it is running hospitals. Clearly, the federal administration is taking direction from the president.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's the Department of Health and Human Services, the Health Resources Services Administration, they have clear direction. And as mentioned earlier, even by a public speaker, California is not seen as an ally. And so we do have an uphill battle. So until politically we're able to address some of these challenges, we as a public healthcare system, that's what I do, run hospitals, have to ensure that our intergovernmental relations team understands what the implications are. They work with our elected officials and delegations to make sure that they're doing the very best they can to represent the community and your public hospital.
And we actually have been going up to Sacramento, even before the past Lecture 1, to talk to our speaker, Robert Rivas, and all the state senators and assembly member regarding this loss of funding, and hoping that the state of California could help backfill some of those losses we have. And that discussion certainly is still continuing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We have a Councilmember Lamb.
Thank you, Supervisor Otto Lee and Mr. Lawrence for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. If I understand correctly, we have a $1 billion shortfall, and the operation of the hospital is running $1.4 billion deficit. And this Measure A generate approximately $330 million. And this $330 million goes into general fund. What are the percentage? Any idea what are the percentage that this $330 million will go into the hospital? What's the percentage will go into Medicare? What is the percentage going into CalFresh? Out of this $330 million.
So let me try to explain it this way. So as President Lee has mentioned, this is a general sales tax initiative. It will generate $330 million. And as you looked at the chart that I had up there, the current year is $200 million. So today, we are coming up with $200 million in initiatives for the board to consider later this year to balance the current year budget. So your health system today is already identifying efficiencies, consolidations, revenue opportunities for the system to present to the board. So that takes care of this year. You go into next year, and this obviously compounds itself. So we took care of $200 million. Next year, we're looking at over $500 million, and then it gets up to the $1 billion when it starts to include the SNAP program, et cetera. So next year, we are also already preparing to identify opportunities for next year's budget as a healthcare system. In October, the county executive will be recommending to the board the targets for each and every department. And those targets are going to have to represent our projected deficit. And many of those recommendations that are going to be coming from the departments will have service implications, because you're already at cutting $500 million. And so many departments are going to struggle to meet those targets. So our hope is threefold. One is through these operational efficiencies. We are in discussions with the state to take care of another third of that problem, right? There's no guarantees of that, but that is our strategy. And the other part of it going into next year will be hopefully support from our voters around Measure A. Those are the strategies that we have to undertake. Now, if that gets disrupted and we don't have Measure A funding, then we have to make deeper cuts. And so that's what I was referring to you, that we are at a critical juncture of maintaining essential services for our community. We generate, to give you some perspective on how things are compounded, for every dollar we spend in healthcare, today we generate 88 cents on the dollar. It's huge, right? So when you cut a dollar of service, you're also cutting the revenue. So you can see how things get compounded. In order to get 12 cents, you're cutting more than just 12 cents on that dollar. So it's really important to understand the only way we're going to get there is, unfortunately, to look at service lines and start to cut service lines when we start to reach that magnitude from 200 million to 500 million, and then in 28, 29, the 1.4 billion for the entire county. So it is an escalation. It is an iterative process relative to budgeting, and it first starts in October of this year.
I'm sorry, I still not clear how many percent go into the hospital, how many percent go into CalFresh, and how many percent go into Medi-Cal.
Well, if you take the chart that I had, you're taking $330 million off those projections. So you take $330 million off to the $515 million, then we only have $200 and some million to cut for next year. And then next year, if you look at the number, it goes to over $1 billion.
If I understand correctly, this 330 go into general funds.
Yes, it is, but it backfills the health system. So when you look at the county-wide numbers, you need to look at the county-wide numbers, and that is what the $330 million represents. So instead of, as an example, in fiscal year 27-28, if the measure generates $330 million, we're only looking at $700 million in reductions, right? As a county, because the public system is part of the county. And this represents the county contribution to not just the health system, but to the sheriff's department, to the DA, to all of the departments, right?
Maybe I could try to explain it a different way, William, to see if this would help. So we talked about the 88% reimbursement, meaning that for every dollar we spend on the hospital systems and health and clinic, we get back 88 cents in reimbursement. So in other words, we only spend 12 cents to provide that $1 of service to our community. And where does 12 cents come from? That 12 cents comes from our general fund. That's not a dedicated fund for Medicaid. That could go anywhere, in public safety, whatnot, right? That 12 cents come from the general fund. With the reduction of funds for Medicaid, the 88 cents that we get back is being directly reduced to something much less than 82, 83, whatever the percentage is, right? How are we going to make off the difference, right? So that's general funds that we use to make up the difference. So let's say we go from 88 cents to 80 cents reimbursement now being cut. In order to make up the difference, we will have to come up with another, 8 cents per dollar in order to cover the same medical services. I think that probably explains what we're trying to say is that we are making the gap coverage. So most of that money that we're covering is going to go straight to healthcare, because I would say more than half of our budget for the whole county goes to our healthcare services. All the other stuff that you hear about, whether it's public safety, whether it's the parks, whether it's all the different things the county does, is a much smaller portion of our budget. Because of the fact that now we have not 3, but 4 hospitals, well more than half of our expenditure in terms of dollar for dollar in our budget, 13.6 billion, goes to our medical services, both the hospital and the clinics and the community clinics. So I hope that explains why most of that funds, just based on the structure, will be going to our health and hospital system.
Okay. Well, let's say this measure pass. Let's say measure pass, and you got that $330 million you wanted. You still has a large portion, especially the hospital, is more than 1.5, 1.4, 1.5 billion deficits.
Yes.
Where's that money come from?
Well, that's where the cut would have to come from. And that's why we are trying to minimize the cut. We know we have to.
So you still have a cut, you still need to cut.
Yes. So when people say, why don't you cut first? Oh, we are cutting. There's no question we're cutting. We're just saying, let's try to find ways to cut less, is what this is about.
But that 330 million, if I understand correctly, only half of it go into the hospital, or even less of that.
It would actually be more. It would definitely be more than half, that's for sure. One thing I do want to mention regarding cuts is that yeah, so when we are talking about the cutting, a lot of people say, why don't you cut first before asking to raise our taxes, right? That's a very common thing that people would say. And what I was telling people is, oh, no, we are cutting. There's no question. Because then the question is, well, why don't you have a higher sales tax, right? Why did you raise so little? 330, why don't you raise $1 billion, right? Why don't you do that? That was the other question I've been asked. And the question is, in order to put sales tax measure, we actually require the state to have a state law has to be passed by the senators and some member to allow cities and state to put that on the ballot. The authority we've had for the past 2.5 years through a bill by State Senator Dave Cortese, the amount that was allowed was the 5/8 cents. That's the most we could ask for. And that's basically what we're doing right now, is just trying to exercise that power. Look, we had this power for 2 years. At the time, we didn't need that money. We were like, look, we could cut things, right? When we've been cutting the last 2 years, like, no, we're not going to go voters. Let's just cut. We can make the budget balance. And that's what we've been doing the last 2.5 years already. When HR 1 shows up, we're like, oh my God, there's no way we can make any more cuts because we are cutting. That's why we are going to the voters. And that's the reason why this is on the ballot this time.
If the operation expenses for the hospital is so much, why can't we sell a hospital?
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, that's a really good question. So let's just speak round numbers here. It may cost to operate a hospital $500 million. $500 million to operate, but you're generating revenue. So if we're generating 88 cents on the dollar, you only save 12% of that. So 12% of $500 million is only around 60-some million dollars that you save. So you lose an entire hospital at the expense of losing the revenue associated with that operations, and you lose the service. Does that make sense? So that's the match. So every dollar we spend, we're generating revenue, right? So you have to take it down to the service line level to start to effectuate the level of reductions that we're talking about. You start looking at those service lines that don't make money, right? Where the margin isn't as much as it would be, right? There are some service lines in healthcare that people make money on. So our rehabilitation center, our payer mix is very favorable. So we use that revenue to offset expenses in other service lines that don't make revenue to cover their cost. That's a healthcare system. So I'm happy, Councilmember Lam, to sit down with you and walk through the economics, or any council member. But there's economics related to running a hospital where I'm I'm happy to sit down and talk through the business component and the financial components of it. Does that make sense? So hospitals close service lines in order to make their bottom line work because they're looking at those service lines that do not have the margin of profit or they're losing money. That's why you see service lines close. That's why in the state of California, if you're following the news, labor and delivery services in rural hospitals are closing throughout the state of California. So hospitals look at service lines to reduce in order to address their budget shortfalls. And that is exactly what we will have to do. So we will have to look at service lines that don't have the margins that will contribute to the greatest return in terms of savings in order to balance the budget. Hospitals that can't solve the problems by closing service lines close. There is a hospital north of Sacramento, I forgot the name of the hospital, that already announced their closure because of this. There are hospitals in this community, in and around our county, that are looking at potential closures because of HR 1, because they cannot get to that number by addressing it from a service line perspective. There are 37 hospitals, in terms of my research, in the state of California that have stated that they're on the verge of closing because of HR 1. 37 hospitals. And these are typically your rural hospitals, non-academic medical centers serving major populations in the state of California. 37. And typically those hospitals are serving communities that have no other hospital, that have no other emergency room. And so the most vulnerable residents in the state of California are going to be impacted. And that is no different than some of the decisions that we are going to have to make here in Santa Clara County if we can't take that one-third approach to addressing our shortfall. But every part of that is part of our overall strategy. It's cumulative. So, Councilmember Lamb, I really do appreciate your questions, and I'm happy to get into further discussions with you.
Actually, I maybe have a more shorter way to explain. Thank you, Paul, for the great detailed explanation. Is you cannot sell a money-losing business, right? So, for example, O'Connor and St. Louis, those two hospitals were in bankruptcy. And guess how many bidders were there for those two hospitals when they were on bankruptcy fire sale, right? There was only one bidder. Nobody else is bidding, right? Because of the fact that there's no way for other profit-making, like HCA, right, to make it work. Now, this most recent purchase, Regional Medical Center, by the time we got the books, to actually look at the books of how they're running on a month-to-month basis, we were completely shocked. We knew they were losing money. We did not know they were bleeding that badly. And because of that, we actually went back on the deal that was signed and said, no, we're not buying at this price. Your bleeding is far more. And we actually got them to reduce another $25 million on that purchase because it's a money-losing business. And trust me, there are nobody else wants to buy that regional medical center. And you can imagine if we do not step up to buy regional medical center, what the impact would be for Milpitas right now if we are talking about closing RMC, right? So this is, and again, the county is not about ROI. The return on investment on dollar for, how much profit we make, that's not our mission, right? Our mission is to serve the community because we are the safety net. When the HCA and all those companies don't want to do that business anymore because it's not profitable, the net safety net, meaning that we're catching those that are falling through, right? And just like Councilmember Chua mentions, you see what type of work we do every single day. Rich, poor, insured or not, we cover everybody. And that's our mission. And this is what we are trying to save, is making sure every resident will get that type of service.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Lamb. And with that, I don't see any more questions. And I want to thank you, Paul Lawrence and County Board of President Otto Lee, for coming here and doing your presentation. Thank you very much. Let's give him a
Especially on
round of
16 de
applause.
septiembre.
Thank you.
Viva!
Okay, thank you. All right, now moving on to conflict of interest and campaign contributions. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. I ask the mayor and every other member of the city council whether he or she has any financial or personal conflict of interest related to any of the items on tonight's agenda.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo. Vice Mayor
None.
Barbadillo. Councilmember Chua.
None.
Councilmember Lamb.
None.
Councilmember Leanne.
None.
Mayor Montano.
None.
Thank you. I further ask the mayor and every other member of the city council to please disclose any campaign contributions of $100 or more received within the last 12 months from any of the parties entering into contracts with the city on tonight's agenda, or contributions received from development project applicants for development projects on tonight's agenda.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
None.
Councilmember Chua.
None.
Councilmember Lamb.
None.
Councilmember Leanne.
None.
Mayor Montano.
None.
Thank you, Mayor. Let the record reflect no reported conflicts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now moving on to the reading of the Code of Conduct, we have Councilmember Chua that would like to read it.
City of Milpitas Council Code of Conduct. Be respectful and courteous. Model civility. Avoid surprises. Praise publicly and criticize privately. Focus on the issue, not the person. Use electronic devices appropriately while on the council dais. Disclose conflicts of interest and affiliations related to the agenda items. Separate governing from campaigning. The council speaks with one voice after making policy on issues. Respect the line between policy and administration. Council will hold one another accountable to comply with this code of conduct. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Chua. So now moving on to the approval of the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to make any changes before making a motion? If not, let's call for the motion, and I need a second. Is there, who wants to make a motion? We have Councilmember Leanne made a motion, and Councilmember Chua made the second. So now let's call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Chua.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb. Aye. Councilmember Leanne.
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
Aye. Okay, so now moving on to the consent calendar. Staff, do you have any changes or comments?
No, Mayor.
No, there are no comments or changes. So now we'll ask the council to proceed, and we have Councilmember Leanne.
I'd like to pull C1, please.
Okay, Councilmember Leanne would like to pull C1. Is there anyone else?
I'd like to pull C6.
And we have Councilmember Lamb that would like to pull C6. Did you say C6?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we have pulled
that-
C1 and C6.
Yeah, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent item, except for C1 and C6.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, so it was moved by Councilmember Lin and seconded by Councilmember Lamb. So let's call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Chua.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb.
Aye.
Councilmember Leanne.
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I am an aye. All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to public hearings. Item 8, City Manager.
Item number 8 is introduction of an ordinance to modify Chapter 14 of Title 1 of the Milpitas Municipal Code regarding the salaries of the Milpitas Mayor and City Council. And we have Assistant City Manager Matt Kano.
Sorry, Mayor, I just want to make sure that we have a clear record. Before we go on to hearing items, can we have a clear call for the public forum? I believe everyone spoke earlier who had submitted comment cards, but just very clearly, can we call for the general public forum?
Okay, is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment?
This is for any item that's not appearing on the agenda. This is the general public forum.
We did that earlier, but I don't know why we're doing that again. Go ahead. You can come up to the podium. It's 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. HR 1 is also going to impact Milpitas. Our budget is going to get even more screwed up than we already know that it's going to be. We're going to have some serious problems in a couple of years. I do not have confidence in this council to move rapidly, so I've decided to come down here, offer a suggestion on how we can balance our books in the future. But it does require going to the public to get a tax measure, just like the county has done. They seem to turn on a dime to be able to get this measure on the ballot for this year. We're going to take longer. But we can go after the billionaires and their corporations by going after freeloaders and polluters. For those of us interested in the environment, number one polluter is carbon dioxide emissions. We need to start taxing that.
Thank you. Okay, moving on again, back to the item 8, which is public hearings. And that was for Matt.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager Matt Kano, and I have a brief presentation. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. So as some background, the current salaries for the Mayor and City Council as defined by the Milpitas Municipal Code are $1,130.75 per month for the Mayor and $904.37 for each City Council member. We've had a few discussions this calendar year, most recently September 2nd, 2025, where direction was provided by the Mayor and City Council to provide for adjustments to the salaries as follows, in alignment with recent changes that are allowed per the government code. Each member of the City Council, including the Mayor, would receive $1,900 per month, which equates to $22,800 per year, plus inflation as allowed for in the government code, and to provide the position of Mayor an additional increment of $400 per month or $4,800 per year. The effective date of the Mayor's additional increment would be the same as that of the rest of the council. So this is the direction we received on September 2nd. Next slide, please. So tonight we have a draft ordinance in front of you for your consideration and possible approval. This aligns with the changes in here align with the direction that was provided to us on September 2nd, 2025, and provides for the following. Mayor and each member of the council would receive a base salary of $2,006.40 per month, or $24,076.80 per year. This includes a 5.6% escalation, which is the calculation we did per the government code rules. And the Mayor would receive an additional increment on top of that of $422.40 per month, again, including that 5.6% for inflation. All the new salaries would become effective after the November 2026 election. And the findings and the reasons for this are outlined further in the agenda report. Next slide, please. And the recommendation would be to follow the City Attorney's reading of the title, waive the first reading beyond the title, and introduce the new ordinance, amending Ordinance 128.13, amending Chapter 14 of Title 1 of the Milpitas Municipal Code to amend the salaries of the Mayor and City Council in alignment with California Government Code Section 36516. And with that, we're available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions? Actually, I think I need to take this to the public first. Public?
I have no public speaker cards for this item.
Anyone from the general public that would like to have Mr. Montemayor?
Oh, this is just for me, Voltaire Montemayor, Milpitas. I was here for a previous meeting about this topic, and it's all I can see. It's fair and it's well computed with some whatever considerations that you had. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public If not, close the public hearing. And now going to the council. Do we have someone that would like to make any comments? We have Councilmember Lamb.
Yeah, I just want to ask, where's that 5.6 come from?
Thank you, Councilmember Lamb. So the California Government Code refers to the California Consumer Price Index. And so as I indicate, I have some detail in the agenda report. There's a official website for the California Consumer Price Index, which is again referred to in the government code for us to use. And there's an actual online calculator that we use. And we took the, it doesn't do even months. And so we took from December 2023 until, because the government code changed in January 2024. So we calculated from December 2023 through June 2025. And we couldn't go any farther than June 2025 because that's the last data that's available. And so again, December 2023 through June 2025 on the official California Consumer Price Index online calculator gets you to 5.6%.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? We need to have another council member, so, right? Oh, we have a council member, Chua. How about Vice Mayor Barbadillo? Do you have any comments?
None, Mayor. Sorry.
Okay. Now, City, do we have to wait till?
So I do need to read the title before any motion.
We don't have to wait for Councilmember Chua.
For the vote, I would recommend waiting for her to return.
Okay. We're going to wait for Councilmember Chua to return.
I'm sorry, and Mayor, I can read the title while we are doing so.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Milpitas amending the Municipal Code Title I, Chapter 14 relating to mayor and city council salaries. That is the ordinance is so entitled.
So you need a motion and a second, but don't we have to wait till the vote? I'm going to wait till Councilmember Chua gets back. So I just want to remind the public that this is for November 2026. So it's not this year, but the following year.
And Mayor, if I may on that point, that has been something that is incorporated into the ordinance as is proposed, having the salaries take effect after one of the council members, their seat becomes open for election. So that is written into the ordinance as currently proposed. It doesn't take effect 30 days after as would normally occur. So we have heard the council's feedback on that, consistent with the government code, to make sure that it takes effect after the next election.
So everybody got that? After the next election. Also, I'd like to give an opportunity, if any council member does not want to receive a stipend, speak now or forever hold their peace. Okay, all right, welcome back. So now we're ready for the motion and a second. Is there a motion? We have Councilmember Lamb. Motion by Councilmember Lamb. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second it. So now we'll second it by myself, and now we'll call for the vote.
And just to clarify, Councilmember Lamb is moved to approve, correct?
Yes. Thank you.
Calling for the vote, Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Chua.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb.
Aye.
Councilmember Lien.
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. All right, so now item number 9, City Manager.
The next item is for the council to conduct a public hearing and approve the draft fiscal year 2024-2025 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. And we have Michelle.
Good evening, Michelle Silva with the Office of Housing. Tonight, I am pleased to present an overview of the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as CAPER, for the 2024-2025 program year. Next slide, please. So what is the CAPER? The CAPER is a HUD-required document that reviews the city's community development block grant performance, comparing annual accomplishments to the 2024-2025 annual action plan goals. It also summarizes our progress on the 2022-2025 consolidated plan's priorities. It is important to note that this report will be the third and final progress report for this consolidated plan period. Tonight, I will provide an overview and ask City Council to accept the report. Next slide, please. Our overview of the report will begin with a detailed view of the funding allocated during the program year. Please take a few moments to review this slide. In total, the City Council allocated $899,472.39 to 16 activities that addressed a wide range of community needs, including housing, public services, and economic development. Next slide, please. I will now take the time to highlight our subrecipients' accomplishments, starting with our public services category. Catholic Charities, their long-term care ombudsman program advocates for the rights of seniors living in long-term care facilities. This program served 5 Milpitas seniors living in these settings. Child Advocates of Silicon Valley is the only agency in the county that provides a court-appointed special advocate, or CASA, to every foster child. The organization served and connected 5 Milpitas foster youth with dedicated CASAs during the program year. City Team provided 1,225 hot meals to 200 unhoused residents, addressing food insecurity in the community. Hope for the Unhoused. Regrettably, the award could not be granted as the city's insurance requirements were not met at this time. The full award amount will be reallocated next program year. Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence provided 63 residents who are victims of domestic violence with supportive services and emergency shelter. Next slide, please. Project Sentinel handled 123 requests from Milpitas residents, providing information and referrals to help resolve various housing issues. Senior Adults Legal Assistance assisted 46 Milpitas seniors, promoting aging with dignity by providing free legal services. Silicon Valley Independent Living Center served 38 disabled residents, promoting greater levels of independence with housing search assistance services. SourceWise served a total of 110 unduplicated homebound older adults with nutritious home-delivered meals. YWCA Silicon Valley provided supportive services and emergency shelter to 26 individuals recovering from domestic violence. Next slide, please. We will now proceed to our capital and economic development activities, starting with Life Moves. They completed its 2-year-long renovations project to upgrade the women's restroom at the Julian Street Inn shelter. 39 Milpitas residents benefited from the improved facility this year. Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley provided critical home repairs and accessibility modifications for 16 income-qualified Milpitas households. Terrace Gardens completed roof renovations on the community buildings at a low-income senior facility, enhancing safety and comfort for all 148 resident units. In collaboration with Forward, the City of Milpitas efficiently managed the Milpitas Microenterprise Grant Program, awarding 40 grants to qualifying local microenterprises. Next slide, please. Lastly, we have our program administration activities. Project Sentinel Fair Housing is dedicated to promoting fairness and equal housing opportunities for all. This year, they handled 12 fair housing cases. Program administration. The City of Milpitas staff managed and oversaw the city's CDBG program, ensuring compliance with regulations and supporting the implementation of the funded activities. In total, 871 residents were served during the program year. Next slide, please. This slide shows our progress towards the consolidated plan goals. The left column lists the city's goals, the middle shows this year's completion percentage, and the right shows our cumulative progress over the 3-year plan. While our subrecipients exceeded their proposed goals for the year, we did not fully meet some objectives outlined in the strategic plan. A few reasons for that being, 1, available funding was limited, and 2, HUD's stringent requirements and regulatory limits. When the consolidated plan was adopted back in 2022, the city was on average receiving $650,000 annually. Now the number is closer to $550,000. The significant decrease in funding has affected the number of residents we can serve. On top of that, HUD has strict program requirements that we must follow. 3 of the 5 areas where we fell short are public services. Due to HUD-imposed caps, we are unable to reallocate additional funds to public services beyond the regulatory limits. For the 2 remaining unmet goals, staff faced the challenges of qualifying capital projects. The CDBG program requires projects to benefit low-income residents. If a project doesn't directly serve a low-income group, it must be located in a census tract where at least 51% of residents are low-income. Our census tracts don't meet this threshold, leading to low achievement in these areas. Regardless, our subrecipients performed admirably and showed great flexibility during unprecedented times. Their dedication ensured essential services continued for our community's most vulnerable members. We deeply appreciate their commitment, adaptability, and enduring support. Next slide, please. And this is our final slide. It's our recommendation. 1, conduct a public hearing. 2, approve the draft fiscal year 24-25 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. And 3, authorize the city manager or designee to make any necessary changes and submit the approved draft fiscal year 24-25 CAPER to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to comply with CDBG requirements. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be here to answer any questions after the public comments.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to open the public hearing now on this item. Anyone from the public or any cards?
I have several public speaker cards, Mayor. I'll call them in order received. The first is Jonathan Dar from Next Door Solutions, and then we have Deanne Everton from Rebuilding Together, and then we have Voltaire Montemayor.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Dar from Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence. We always like to come before the council. Thank you for your support that's ongoing. We need it. As you hear from your other speakers, we are in uncertain times. Our budgets, sometimes it's a daily back and forth. We're having to spend a lot of time on advocacy and holding our budgets. And we know that the city of Milpitas is a consistent partner and collaborator and conversation. If we ever ran into any challenges, we know we could come and talk to you. We really appreciate that. But we did serve more people than we thought, and it changes from year to year. We are one of those organizations that serves everybody who comes. We will not turn anyone away for whatever reason, no matter who's asking us to do that or whatever resources we're challenged with. We will work with people who come to our door. And in Milpitas, you all know that we're here for you. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next, we have Deanne Everton, followed by Voltaire Montemayor, and then Georgia Basil.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Deanne Everton, Executive Director for Rebuilding Together Silicon Valley. I want to thank you for your support, not only this past year through the allocation of CDBG funds, but for the past 18 years, demonstrating your commitment to preserving Milpitas' affordable housing stock by investing in critical home repairs and safety modifications. Each repair project that we undertake is not merely a construction effort, it's a life-changing intervention that prevents displacement, improves health outcomes, increases neighborhood stability, and restores hope. Our clients live in unsafe conditions, facing broken plumbing, inaccessible entryways, failing roofs, and outdated electrical systems. And these are not cosmetic issues, they are urgent health and safety hazards. When addressed, reduce risk of homelessness, injury, illness, and further burdens on county resources. Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you.
Next, we have Voltaire Montemayor, followed by Georgia Basile.
Welcome.
Voltaire Montemayor, Milpitas, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, City Manager and staff. Yeah, great job to all. Like, should I mention CDBG, Caper, 1, 2, 3, 4, City Manager, all of you. You really take care of us. I don't want to mention what I had in front of my is the uniform of the Knights of Columbus, but I'm not a delegate. I'm not. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
And finally, we have Georgia Basile.
Oh, welcome.
Good evening, Georgia Basile, Directing Attorney of Senior Adults Legal Assistance. As you know, we provide free legal services to Milpitas residents 62 or older. We provide our services locally at Barbara Lee Senior Center and by phone for clients that can't get to the senior center. As Michelle indicated, the Caper states that we provided free legal services to 46 Milpitas residents last year. Most of them were seen at Barbara Lee Senior Center. 91% were very low income, and 46% were 75 or older. Your funding means so much to us because we can't charge fees for our services or take fee-generating cases. So we very much appreciate the support we received last year, and we hope that we can continue to serve your Milpitas residents this year. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I have no additional public speaker cards, Mayor.
Anyone else from the public on the floor? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and move to my, to the colleagues, council members. We have Councilmember Chua.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank all of you that came tonight. And I know we've known you for many years now. And thank you for your service. We do really appreciate it. And Miss Georgia, you know, you come every year, and thank you for doing that. It really means a lot to us. That means there is really that commitment to work with us, and thank you so very much. And I want to call on Michelle, please. Yes. I have just one quick question. Can you explain a little bit on the micro enterprise? What's going on with that? What went?
Yeah, Alex is online.
Oh, Alex.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pulling him up now.
Oh, I was going to say, I could explain.
Huh?
She can explain.
Oh, okay.
The
there you go.
city manager can explain.
City manager can do it.
Is it easier that way, Suzanne?
Alex is available now.
I will,
Mayor,
Alex.
Vice Mayor, and City Council.
Can't hear. So
Can't hear.
they have the dollars are in process of being released out to recipients out of the total number of applicants that have provided and the amount that was available. Candidates or applicants were eligible for $8,100 of subsidy. So we're literally pushing money out this week.
Yes. Yeah, one of the businesses asked me just this week, and I said, I'm going to ask the same question.
Yeah.
So,
I
thank you.
believe it, I believe in the end, there were 68 small businesses, but I'm going to confirm that because
Yeah,
I put it
thank
in
you.
a previous.
Thank you so much. They'll be
Alex,
so
was it 68 or 63 or? May have gone down.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
thank you so much.
The money is literally being pushed out.
So
It is-
I'll let them know. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's great.
So this-
That kind of reminds me, you know how they had the recent jewelry robbery and their whole storefront was smashed and demolished? Is there a way that is there a fund that we can help them rebuild? I'm not sure, so Oh, can we just look into it?
I can bring that, a couple things. I know that the police department does help with assessing facilities and helping with preventative measures. So there is that available for our community. But we'll bring that to the workshop for prioritize, and as the council deliberates on one-time dollars, you can take that up.
That'd be good. Yeah. Okay, is there anyone else? We have Councilmember Lamb, or was it Vice Mayor Barbadillo, are you there? You have any questions?
I'm good, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, we have Councilmember Lamb.
One question, is 100% of the recipient Milpitas residents?
That is correct, 100%.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Land, do you have any questions? Okay, all right. Okay, I want to thank the service providers that came out. Thank you so much for all the work that you do to serve our residents. And I also want to thank staff for your presentation. I do have one question. This is on the public services for children and youth. I mean, we didn't meet the target for some reason. Can you explain why?
That is correct. Part of it is, once again, it's the limited funding. It's under the public services, which we have a 15% cap. That passed this last year, 24-25, that is equivalent to about $88,000. And so, you know, when we're trying to be equitable and we're giving all these organizations a little bit of the money in the buckets. So that's the case. We can't really allocate more money if we don't have more money.
Oh, so it wasn't because you didn't find enough children or youth to help. It was because you just didn't have that funding.
Correct.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. Okay, so now that we're done with the discussion, I need a motion in a second. It was moved by Councilmember Chua. Is there a second? And then it's seconded by Councilmember Lan.
And just to confirm for the record, it was moved to approve the recommendation, correct?
Okay. All right, so now we'll call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
And I'm an aye, thank you. And so now moving to the consent calendar items that were pulled. I think we have C1 and C6. So we have, I think Councilmember Lin pulled C1.
I'm looking at October 2025, October 7. Since all of us are going to Long Beach for the conference, I just want to make sure that we know about that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Councilmember, that meeting is canceled. We'll update that calendar and issue a revised calendar to you all.
All right, thank you.
I want to reflect, the city clerk, she did place on the website that the meeting is canceled. So there is already an advisory out there for the community that the meeting's canceled. We'll correct this calendar.
Okay, thank you, Member Then. Okay, we have now,
Mayor, we'll still need a motion and second and
A
take
motion
public comment
to-
on that item as
okay, we
well.
need, go, since you're the one
The
that pulled
motion
it.
to,
Wait, sorry, we do need public comment.
Public comment for this item, consent item number C1.
Voltaire Montemayor Milpitas. It was clarified, right?
Yes, thank you, madam.
Thank you. Okay, now it was motion by Councilmember Lin, seconded by Councilmember Chua, and
It
I'll
was motion to approve, correct?
call for the vote.
correct.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Chua,
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb,
Aye.
Councilmember Lian,
Aye.
Mayor Montano.
I'm an aye. Thank you. The next item that was pulled was C6 by Councilmember Lamb.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I know each one of the commissions and the commissioners work very hard on the work plans. Some of us are not involved month to month on those commissions. So I would like to give each commission and the commissioners a chance to tell us what's going on their work plans, and so we all can learn more about each commissions. No?
So is it going to be staff that's
Yeah,
going
it
to
seems
presenting?
like staff is gonna, well, uh, can we get some recommendation from the staff?
Thank you, Councilmember. So for 5 of the commissions this evening, they're administered by the Recreation and Community Services Department. And so Director Lorenzen is online available to speak to those. And the other one is from the IT department, and Director Nam is available to speak to that one tonight.
Okay, and then the rest would be another time.
Yes, the remaining we'll bring back before the end of the calendar year, possibly in the October meeting or possibly in the November meeting.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
So we can provide we have a brief presentation if you'd like on the work plans.
Yes.
and that's by Director Lawrence, and we'll present this right now? Okay.
Correct. All right. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you for the time tonight. We will, in the interest of time, go swiftly but comprehensively through the annual commission report and 6 commission work plans this evening. Next slide. In case you've forgotten, the city has 13 commissions. That includes your Measure F Oversight Committee. You all appoint those commission and committee members, and each year, each commission and committee develops and recommends a work plan that outlines their tasks, their goals, and projects related to their advisory area. This evening, we have the Arts Commission, Library and Education Commission, Parks, Rec, and Cultural Resources Commission, Senior Advisory Commission, Science, Technology, and Innovation Commission, and the Veterans Commission, who've all been working over the last few months to review their tasks from 24-25, identify any of those tasks or items that need to be carried over to fiscal year 25-26, and any new tasks or topics that they would like to work on for you all in this fiscal year. Next slide. So we'll start with the Arts Commission. A few of carryover tasks from 24-25 is supporting the mural program through utility box graffiti abatement projects. They are going to continue, fingers crossed, on the artist for the VTA mural project on Great Mall Parkway. And we are going to work on a piece of the public art master plan that asks for a maintenance schedule for our city-owned public art to be developed, and that's coming up soon. Ongoing and proposed new tasks for this commission are supporting performing arts in Milpitas and the Phantom Art Gallery, working on incorporating art placemaking opportunities into our Main Street, Milpitas Metro, and other city events, and promoting public awareness of Milpitas Arts and Culture Grant Program in Milpitas. An accomplishments highlight for this commission is that they recommended the artists for the Historic Park Marker Project, which is underway currently, and they were a great supporter and recommended approval to you all of the Public Art Master Plan that was approved a couple months ago. Next slide, please. Our Library and Education Commission, the carryover task from fiscal year 24-25 work plan is to work on a survey to go out to the community on service levels for growing populations, checking in with Milpitas residents on how they feel they have access to the library system in town. Ongoing and proposed new tasks are the annual County Commission Forum, which is in February 2026 this fiscal year, collaborating with Milpitas on city events. They table with the library at events such as Pumpkins in the Park, and they want to visit a fellow library They're considering going to the Campbell Library, doing a site visit and seeing how their library services are run. An accomplishment highlight for this commission is their annual youth essay contest. This past year, they had 100 youth, and their 25-26 event is coming up in the next couple weeks. And that's for grades 4 through 12. It's a very popular event. Next slide. Our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources Commission, the carryover tasks for this commission is a Historic Resources Master Plan update that is going to be underway this year, and they will be the advisory body to the City Council on the update to this document. Ongoing and proposed new tasks are the bicycle and pedestrian trails items, which are the family bike event and bike to work day. They visit every June a new site, open space recreation facility. So they do that every year to keep in touch with what our amenities are. They are looking to do a commission cross promotion effort this year where they will visit other commissions to talk about what their advisory areas are and their projects are, and then invite other commissions to do the same with them. They offer sister city support for existing international relationships in Milpitas, and we are updating our Adopt a Spot program, and so they will be the advisory body to review that program. An accomplishments highlight for this group is they co-approved the Historic Park Marker Project that I talked about a couple slides ago. They're excited about that. And they hosted the Bike to Work Day and a bike repair clinic, which focuses on fixing bikes for underserved residents in Milpitas. Next slide, please. Our Senior Advisory Commission, carryover tasks for this commission from fiscal year 24-25. They have moved their annual resource fair for older adults to later this fall or winter. Ongoing and proposed new tasks for the Senior Advisory Commission is to continue with the Teach Seniors technology with our contractor Renew Vista, promotion and raise awareness of the Senior Center's resources, events, and social services, continue to promote and outreach on educational wellness and learning opportunities in Milpitas to adult seniors. An accomplishment highlight for this group, they sponsored Senior Center events, including birthday celebrations, a very energetic Halloween sock hop, and several holiday events. Next slide, please. I'm going to take a break and hand this one over to Director Nam.
Good evening, Mayor and the Council. Science, Technology, and Innovation Commission advises the City Council on telecommunications policy, legislation, and implementation. For year 2024 to 2025, the Commission worked on artificial intelligence. That was a general research on policy and artificial intelligence technology that's emerging. AI usage in city government and cybersecurity, all those items were completed. And for FY26 work plan, the Commission wishes to work on AI usage in public security and infrastructure, which explores use of AI in crime prevention and investigation and prevention. Second item is AI policy, participates in GovAI Coalition Policy Committee and share updates as the AI policy evolves. And the third item is technology usage in public communication. This involves reviewing tools and technologies for the city website and My Milpitas app, Smart App, and other applications as applicable. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I'll hand it over to Director Lawrenson.
Thank you. I'll wrap this up with our Veterans Commission. So carryover tasks for this group from fiscal year 24-25 is Say Hi to a Hero program and the Honoring Milpitas Veterans Memorial Site they would like to look into installing. Ongoing and proposed new tasks are serve as a knowledge base for Milpitas veterans. They provide local resources and assistance by hosting a resource fair, which they do during the summer now with their Veterans Barbecue. Assist and plan veteran-based city-sponsored events. They are integral to our Memorial Day and our Veterans Day ceremony. They plan the annual Veterans Luncheon. They work to locate and engage Milpitas veterans, and they do manage the Veteran of the Year Award, which is announced every Veterans Day. Accomplishments highlight for this group, they had a fantastic summer veterans luncheon And they have selected the new Veteran of the Year, which will be announced at the November 11th Veterans Day ceremony. Next slide, please. So the recommendation for the council tonight is to accept the fiscal year 2024-25 Commissioner's Annual Report, as well as approve proposed fiscal year 25-26 work plans for the Arts Commission, Library and Education Commission, Parks, Rec and Cultural Resources Commission, Senior Advisory Commission, Science, Technology and Innovation Commission, and the Veterans Commission. That concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, myself and Director Nam are here to answer.
So, all right, thank you very much for that presentation. So we don't have any more comments from Director Lamb, Councilmember Lamb. So now we'll call the public to see if they have any comments.
I have no public speaker cards.
Anyway, on the floor.
Yeah, Voltaire Montemero Milpitas. Yeah, that's 1, 2. Is that accept? And anyway, I admire everybody. Yep, I was once there. I'm trying to knock back in, but you're all good. You're very approachable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montemayor. Now going back to council discussion. Any discussions from the council? If not, then William, you'll have to make that motion.
First of all, I'd like to thank all those commissioners. They put in a lot of hard work on the work plans. I really appreciate it. And all the staff who are liaison to the commissions, they put in their time and guidance to each individual commissions. I also appreciate your effort. Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the commission annual report and the work plan.
Okay, so is there a second? And we have a second by Councilmember Lin. My senior, right? Yes. Okay, and now we'll call for the vote.
Vice Mayor Barbadillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Chua?
Aye.
Councilmember Lamb?
Aye.
Councilmember Lien?
Aye.
Mayor Montano?
Aye. Okay, so now moving on to announcements and future agenda items. City Manager, do you have any announcements?
Yes, I wanted to correct the numbers that I used. I mentioned 63 or 68%, 64% of applicants were awarded. We had roughly 60 applicants and 39% were approved, and the dollars are going out as planned. I also just wanted to take an opportunity to thank our police department. I see a couple of our folks here. I thought last night's meeting was very well done, and it was not just positive, it was informative. And I looked at it as a reflection of the good relationship that both the police department and the community have, and that's gold. And many of you, you know from working in this profession that that's hard to get, and I saw it in action last night. Thank you.
I agree. It was great. Thank you so much for the police officer's presentation. It was great, wonderful, and you had a huge turnout. That was really nice. Council members, do you have any? We have Councilmember Lamb. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I also like to take a moment to thank our Milpitas Police Department, especially Police Chief Jerry Hernandez and his team. Job well done yesterday, and for hosting the town hall meeting, and for creating a space where community voice can be heard, questions can be asked, and dialogue can take place openly and respectfully. It's important to have events like this to reflect a commitment to transparency, accountability, and partnership. It shows that Milpitas Police Department is not just here to enforce laws, but to build relationships, understand concern, and work together with residents to ensure safety and well-being of all. So on behalf of myself and the City Council, thank you, not just for hosting the town hall meeting, but for continue to serve with dedication and willing to listen for community's inputs. We look forward to more opportunity like this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Lam. We have a
I got it. Thank you, Mayor. And I did what Councilmember Lam said. Yeah. What can I say? Awesome. Awesome job last night, everybody. And my next one is September is Ovarian Cancer Month. And this is the awareness month for ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is asymptomatic, meaning there's no symptoms. So I would encourage women of women, Milpitian women, residents of Milpitas, to please have a check either through pelvic exam or blood test. So it's really a life-saving test. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, I also have a hand raised from Vice Mayor Barbadillo.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to share something, and hopefully later on we'll have some sort of a statement or a resolution. You know, I was in Qatar when the strike happened in Doha on September 9, and it takes really an experience to really feel what's going on with conflicts and wars. You know, we were driving the streets. You know, the earth trembled, and everybody has to pull over and everybody has to look at the sky. Then I realized that, you know, we need to have a voice. You know, we only hear this in the news. Yes, there are specks of resolutions here and there against the wars going on, but I hope this council will consider later on making that statement and hopefully contribute to you know, the ceasing of all the wars in the world. It was a terrifying experience, but hopefully it will be an eye-opener for world peace.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Mayor.
Vice Mayor. Is there anyone else? I do have one. You know, this item has been brought up already, and I know the city manager has already written a briefing on it. And this is in regards to the planes. I mean, I've been getting a lot of complaints, and I do even hear a lot of planes all of a sudden. So I was thinking maybe we should have a community volunteer, because I was doing some research in it, and they do have meetings every month. They're in Palo Alto, I believe, or in San Francisco. Maybe we can have a community member volunteer and just to have oversight and find out what's going on. Just we can look into that, because I don't know about you, because hear a lot of planes lately overhead. Yeah, because we've been getting complaints about the noise. So yeah, if we can look into that, you know, maybe have, or maybe even one of the council members wants to volunteer.
We can reach out to the organizations that are still active, find out how one gets on, particularly as a Milpitas, and bring that back.
Yeah, having a representative would be great. Okay, thank you so much. All right, with that, everybody have a good rest of the week. Meeting's adjourned.